My name is Amber Klein, and I was lucky enough to work on the revision of the OWLS to create the OWLS 2 along with author Dr. Elizabeth Carroll Woolfolk. The OWLS stands for the Oral and Written Language Scales. It's a very unique test because it looks at all 4 primary modalities of language in one test. So we have listening comprehension, oral expression, reading comprehension, and written expression. And across all 4 tests, we're looking at 4 primary areas of language. So we have lexical semantics, so that's vocabulary. We have syntax, which is grammar. We have superlinguistics, which refers to language that requires understanding at a deeper level, so things like inference and humor. And then we have pragmatics, which looks at the social aspects of language. So these all taken together, these 4 tests really give you a complete overview of a child's language abilities. However, we do understand that some people only administer oral language tests and some people only administer the written language tests. So we do have these packaged separately. This kit has the LCOE, which is the listening comprehension oral expression materials. And this kit has the RCWE, which is the reading comprehension written expression materials. All right, so let's get started by seeing what's inside the LCOE bag. Let's first take a look at the manual here. So this is the manual that contains all of the information for the LC and OE tests. There's a separate manual for the RCWE, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So this has all the administration and scoring information. And you'll need to make sure that you have this available when you're administering the test because it goes into some really useful detailed scoring information for the oral expression test. All of the technical information, the psychometric data, etc., for all 4 tests exists in both this manual and the other manual. But this is all you need if you're only doing the LCOE. So here's your test manual. Next, we have your listening comprehension test easel. So this is the examiner side that you can see here. It will show you what you say, the correct answer, and it shows you what skills are measured. So you have that at a glance. And then the other side is the examinee side of the easel. There are tabs on here for suggested start items based on age. So then we have the OE easel. This is basically set up the same way. It just has the oral expression. The difference here is that because the listening comprehension is multiple choice, here it gives you different information. So it gives you some correct responses, incorrect responses. It has a prompt here if required. Also tells you the skills measured, what to say, and then the stimulus information for the person you are testing. So along with the easels, you also need the record form. So this is the LCOE record form. You'll notice a little color coordination going on here to make this easy. We have the green for the LC. This is the LC. We've got the green stripe on the easel. And then we have the purple for the OE, which is the next page here. This is all purple. We've got the purple stripe on this easel. Then on the manual, we have the green and purple stripes. So it's all color coordinated so that you know what materials you're using. So your record form, on the front, it has the places where you're going to record your information, both the demographic information about the student in advance and then your scoring information once you're finished. The listening comprehension portion has where you circle the response and score. And then the oral expression portion has a sample of the correct and incorrect responses and a place to write the response and score. At the back of this record form is an item analysis page for each test. So what this is, for example, on the listening comprehension scale, it will tell you that, let's say, for item A8, then it's testing the noun shoes and the adjective green. So you're going to want to know, you can look at a glance, is the child doing more poorly in one of the 4 areas that are tested by these tests? And we have the lexical semantic, the superlinguistic, the pragmatic, and the syntactic. And so those are the 4 areas measured on all 4 of these tests. So that's that. One other thing, this is a manual written as an accompaniment to the materials. It is not required for test administration, but as you can see, it's called Foundations of Language Assessment. And what this does is outline the author's theory, and it provides some really, really useful information to help you understand the basis of these tests and with interpretation. And then the last thing in here is this laminated quick reference guide. It tells you what these 4 tests are for the OWLS 2. This reference guide, by the way, is applicable to both the LCOE and the RCWE. And then on the back, it tells you what scores you get. It also mentions something else, which is not represented in these materials, and that is that we have a parallel Form B. So if you want to administer a different but parallel version close in time to this Form A, you can also do the Form B. And that brings us to the end of this bag. All right, so now that we've looked at the LCOE kit, let's dig into the RCWE kit. First thing out of the bag, manual. So as with the other manual, this contains everything you need to administer and score the RCWE. You will need to keep it on hand because it provides very useful and necessary information for scoring the written expression test. Next, you have your RCWE easel. So this would be the examiner side of the page. Again, what you say, what the correct responses are, and here's a sample of what the examinee sees on his or her side of the page. Next, we have the WE easel. Now this one is actually a lot thinner, you can see, because some of the WE doesn't require stimulus material to show to the child, but we do have some in here. So some of the things are things that they will read, and so on. Next, we have the RCWE record form. Again, we got some nice color coding going on. We have the red here for the written expression, and then we have the maroon for the reading comprehension. The first page here is again for recording your demographic information ahead of time and then scoring information afterwards. Then you have your record form for scoring the RC as you're administering it. And then your record form for scoring the WE. Yes, this is really small print, but we have a lot to fit in here. And as I mentioned, there's more detailed information about scoring the WE in the manual. At the back of this record form, you will find an item analysis worksheet for both tests, which gives you some information about how they did on different items, different skills, and specifically looks at those 4 areas of language that are the focus of the OWLS. So again, that is semantics, syntax, superlinguistics, and pragmatics. Next here we have the response book. So given that we have a written expression test, we need a place for the examinee to write their responses. And so this is the response book that accompanies that. And that is what is in that bag.